Magandang ano, salamat sa panunood. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, JFRAGMENT. Here I would usually tell you I'm an ex-touring metal musician, but we're going to look at a documentary, and so now I'm going to say I'm an ex-high school engineering teacher. So it gives me some sort of credit that I'm not an idiot, I guess. Going into it is the Spanish held the Philippines for a few hundred years. We came and had the Spanish-American War, which I kind of know about-ish, and we got a whole bunch of territory from them by calling a truce to the war. And then part of that territory is the Philippines. So we then just basically took over being the colonizers. That's my understanding. We're going to get into it and get a lot more detailed, but what you guys need to know is they don't teach the wars where we weren't the good guys, I swear. So we never hear about the Philippine-American War. Not once in a history class. Never. All right, it's about 20 minutes, so strap in. I'm going to have questions. Please get ready to comment.
How do you feel? Are you Philippines? Filipino? Okay, I'll stop. I'm Mr. Beats, and I usually put bad jokes in my videos, like the one you just heard.
Don't try to be funny.
Yeah, but in this video, I'm gonna try not to do that, because this is serious stuff. This video is about a war you probably don't know much about. If you're an American, you likely didn't hear much about it in American history class, and that's likely because it's a war that the American government has preferred you just not remember. You see, this war makes the United States look bad. Very bad, as a matter of fact. It's a war that some historians say killed as many as 1 million people. A war in which American soldiers committed all kinds of atrocities, including pillage, torture, rape, and the massacre of civilians. A war of imperialism.
I wonder why we didn't learn about this in history class. Countries should really teach the worst of the things we did. That way we don't repeat them. Why are we hiding this from ourselves? It's such a disservice to your own people to hide the atrocities that have come before you. How else do you learn not to do them?
In which the United States wanted to control the Philippines to exploit its resources and use it to expand trade throughout Asia. Here's the story of the Philippine-American War. Once upon a time, well, specifically, on April 30th, 1898,
That's not that long ago. That's 1900. It's not that long ago. World War I is when we started with the veneer that the America's the good guys, the shining thing. That's World War I. And that was what, 18 years after this? So right after this shit, we decided we're going to be the shiny beacon on the hill. We're the fucking heroes. And it was whatever.
American Commodore named George Dewey sailed a small fleet into the Philippines, an archipelago made up of at least 7,100 islands in Southeast Asia. At the time, Spain controlled the islands, but it was quickly losing its grip over them. You see, for the past couple years, Filipino nationalists, or those who wanted the Philippines to break free from Spain so that it could be its own country, had been revolting. Led by Emilio Aguinaldo, these Filipino revolutionaries had lots of success by the time Dewey showed up. All that was mainly left for them to capture was Manila, the capital of the Spanish East Indies. Meanwhile, the United States was now also at war with Spain in what became known as the Spanish-American War.
And I'm nearly certain that we did another false flag operation. I'll put it here if I'm right, that we said the USS Maine was destroyed by Spain, but it wasn't.
The United States ran out of destiny to manifest, so they're looking for more. Hi, Cuba. Wait, Spain controls Cuba. Well, blame something on them and go to war. What should we blame on Spain? Let's blame the Maine on Spain. So they blame the Maine on Spain. Now we're in business. To celebrate, they kick Panama out of Panama and make a canal.
But we just blamed it on them, and that's what started the Spanish-American War. I'm just saying, you can hate on me, Americans, in the comments, but I call a spade a spade. If the music's good, I'll tell you. If it's bad, I'll tell you. If Americans are doing some whack shit, and I look back on history, I'm going to tell you. I have no pride in something my people did that's an atrocity. Grow the fuck up and call a spade a spade. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we started the Spanish-American War on false pretenses too. I don't ever trust us on and then we went into Iraq, right? With weapons of mass. We start wars because we want to. We come up with insane justifications that everyone believes for a decade or two, and then we find out it's just so formulaic. Oh my god, this video is going to be long if I just keep ranting. So let's continue and just learn.
Is now also at war with Spain in what became known as the Spanish-American War. So that's what had led Dewey to take his fleet to the Spanish-controlled Philippines. On May 1st, Dewey's forces attacked the Spanish Navy stationed at Manila Bay, easily defeating it. You see, Dewey's ships were made of steel, and the Spanish ships were wooden. The Spanish lost 350 men, the Americans lost 0, in what became known as the Battle of Manila Bay. Meanwhile, Aguinaldo wasn't even in the Philippines at this time. He was in Hong Kong.
I knew this.
After hearing about the American victory in Manila Bay, he returned to the Philippines.
And I'm nearly certain he came back thinking America, and I'm pretty sure he probably promised this. America was like, yeah, dude, we got your country for you. Come on back. And then he needed to be a puppet or shut the F up. This is my guess slash slightly remembering what this is about.
After hearing about the American victory in Manila Bay, he returned to the Philippines to resume the revolution. And here's the thing.
Oh, he came back to fight.
While the Americans showed up acting like they were going to save the day, in reality, the Filipinos were likely going to kick the Spanish out of the islands anyway. Under Aguinaldo's leadership, the Filipinos surrounded Manila and turned over 15,000 Spanish prisoners to the Americans. Aguinaldo and his forces also officially declared independence from Spain. Aguinaldo also declared himself president of the Philippines. Meanwhile, the German Navy also decided to show up acting like they were going to take over the Philippines now. Dewey sent a telegram back to the United States to request more troops.
Did the Germans colonize? Or were they late to the colonization game and they wanted to colonize but weren't able to? Because 1900 seems pretty late in the colonization game, right? Like, this is the very tail end of when we allowed any of this. Basically, World War I think, was the end of, colonialism. If I'm kidding. I'm not a history major by any means.
So that the Americans could fully take over the Philippines. That said, Aguinaldo and Dewey had both agreed that they would join forces to take Spain down. We'll figure out the details later.
Yeah, you trusted us.
Over the next 2 months, more and more American troops arrived in the Philippines, enough to scare the Germans away. Soon the 13,000 Spanish troops in Manila were completely cut off from the outside world. After Basilio Agustin, the Spanish Governor General of the Philippines, tried to surrender to the Filipinos, the Spanish Parliament was embarrassed and kicked him out of office, replacing him with a dude named Fermin Yodenes. Yodenes secretly worked out a deal with Dewey to have a fake battle in which Spain would surrender the Philippines.
How much of American history and war is just bullshit, smoke and mirrors? It's embarrassing. The amount of patriotism we have for made-up shit is fascinating.
Dewey to have a fake battle in which Spain would surrender the Philippines to the United States, not the Filipinos. That fake battle, often called the Mock Battle of Manila, took place on August 13th, 1898. Even though the battle was fake, 19 Americans and 49 Spanish died in it. Regardless, Yodenes surrendered Manila to the...
I'm going to have to watch a video on that, because how do you fake a battle and lose a few dozen people on both sides? That's insane.
9 Spanish died in it. Regardless, Yodenes surrendered Manila to the Americans, not the Filipinos,
which looks cooler, I guess,
they had agreed to, and that was the end of the Spanish-American War in the Philippines, for real. After this, the Americans sent a message to Aguinaldo telling him not to move his forces into the city. And this, you could say, made Aguinaldo quite upset. Mucho. President William McKinley even sent out a telegram that said, quote, "There must be no joint occupation with the Filipinos. The Filipinos and all others must recognize the military occupation and authority of the United States."
All right, devil's advocate though. Spanish, you guys had almost gotten the Spanish out. but the Germans were coming. Like, if the Americans didn't show up and mess with you guys and take over, and Aguilera just got into Manila and would the Germans have just come and taken over? World War II level Germans probably weren't going to be that nice. I'm just saying, like, was it inevitable? Did you guys have, basically, if you don't have the ability to fight off, maybe not the US, but maybe some of the second tier world military powers, someone's going to come colonize you at this point. That's kind of crazy. Not right now, but I mean, like, back then, like, if you couldn't fight, someone was like that. I have heard is our justification for taking Hawaii was China was going to take it, or Russia, or somebody was, and we're like, yeah, we're taking it, because they had no good enough military to fight off world powers. So it's like, we either take it or someone else takes it, and we have to deal with them off our coast. That's the argument I've heard. I'm sure there's tons of historical nuance, but that's kind of some of the places that have been taken over is, well, you're going to get taken over by somebody, we're going to take it. And it's kind of hard to fault that in a giant geopolitical thought process, right? As country level thinking, not people, or, is this going to hurt this person's economy? But like, globally, do we need Hawaii? Yes, we do. It's interesting. Okay. Anyways, United States, not being the good guy. Got it so far.
Recognize the military occupation.
We lie to everybody. We always say we're going to do a normal thing, and then we don't.
Imperialists in the United States.
Like, we told all those people in Afghanistan that helped all of the special forces, and they were translators. We're like, no matter what, bro, we got you. We've kicked them out of our country. We don't let half of them in. It's disgusting. Like, we are the bad guys, and it's so frustrating.
Authority of the United States. This made imperialists in the United States, or those who wanted to expand the country's military and political influence beyond the boundaries of the country, quite
Cuba.
happy. One such imperialist was Mark Hanna, a U.S. Senator from Ohio. Quote, "With a strong foothold in the Philippine Islands, we can and will take a large slice of the commerce of Asia," he said. On August 12th, the United States and Spain signed a ceasefire agreement. On December 10th, the two countries agreed on a peace treaty, unoriginally called the Treaty of Paris. That's the treaty that, among other stuff, gave Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Guam to the United States, but also let the United States buy all of the Philippines from Spain for $20 million.
Not even from the Filipinos. We bought you guys from a different kidnapper. That sucks. As a people, like, you gotta just, I guess you got to partner with a big brother like America, or you got to really put all your money into the military. Like, if you really want to govern yourself when you're that strategically important as the Philippines is right now, you will have to have a huge military budget and be willing to fight. It might just be easier to have the United States as a big brother and put your bases, let them put bases there. I know it is absolutely complicated politics, and I'm making it very simple in my own head. I'm just thinking out loud. Do not hate me. Don't yell at me, please.
Or $722 million in today's money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Spanish and the Americans didn't allow not one Filipino representative to attend the negotiations for the Treaty of Paris. Now that the United States was an official imperial power, a big debate splintered the country about whether or not being an imperial power was actually a good thing. Anti-imperialists opposed the taking of the Philippines, mostly because it went against the values and ideals of the U.S. Constitution. Right. The Filipinos, after all, wanted independence. They didn't have a revolution to kick one colonial...
It's fine they were hypocrites, but can we shut the about being so patriotic and so loving of freedom? We love freedom for us. Not even us. We love freedom for the people who are in charge of people like us.
Power out, only to have yet another...
This is why I could never teach high school history. I would go into rants teaching engineering about history. This is why I cannot teach high school history ever.
colonial power come in to oppress them, one of the most well-known of the anti-imperialists was the great Mark Twain, who wrote, quote, "I have read carefully the Treaty of Paris, and I have seen that we do not intend to free, but to subjugate the people of the Philippines.
At least people at the time were smart enough
to conquer, not to redeem."
to see what our government was doing.
President McKinley traveled the
Remember, it's our government, not us. It's our government. And believe me, this government is not representative of its people. Not even remotely.
country trying to convince
We're just
everyone
as
that the
kidnapped as the
American
rest of the world,
occupation
I
of the
promise you.
Philippines was actually a good thing, arguing that if the United States didn't control them, Germany or Japan would. Not only
That's what I was
that,
saying.
McKinley argued the Philippines could make the United States more prosperous with its resources, eh? Yeah, the occupation of the Philippines remained controversial, especially after Aguinaldo decided that he was going to start a new revolt. A new revolt against a new colonial power. The United States.
They should have saw that coming.
He declared war on the United States.
On February 4th, 1899, around the time that Congress and President McKinley ratified the Treaty of Paris, a firefight broke out between American soldiers and Filipino soldiers in Manila. Later that day, Aguinaldo officially declared, quote, that peace and friendly relations with the Americans be broken and that the latter be treated as enemies within the limits prescribed by the laws of war. The Philippine-American War had begun. Over the next day and a half, 55 Americans died and 238 Filipinos died in the first and biggest battle of the war, the 1899.
Okay, I am very happy to hear that the numbers were so low. I know that's a little messed up because there's hundreds of people that died, but like in the Civil War, we had tens of thousands of people die in just one battle in one day. So to hear this is the biggest battle of what happened means that we probably won really quickly or something. Like, where does Heneral Luna come into this? Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, here we go.
Philippine-American War had begun. Over the next day and a half, 55 Americans died and 238 Filipinos died
That's 5 to
in
1.
the first and biggest battle of the war, the 1899 Battle of Manila. When the Filipinos tried to deliver a truce, Stephen Otis, the American military governor of the Philippines, rejected it. While the United States won that first battle, soon Aguinaldo and his troops had managed to take control of Luzon,
Holy
the largest
shit.
island in the Philippines.
And it
they
has Manila.
refused to let American ships dock there.
I need to know how they forced an entire American military out of Manila. That maybe Heneral Luna movie does that. Like, how did they take Luzon? The Spanish held Manila for like ever. How did
take control of Luzon, the largest island
job,
in the
Aguilera.
Philippines,
How the hell
and they
did you pull that off?
refused to let American ships dock there. In response, President McKinley sent a fleet of new ships there to put down what the American government officially called an insurrection.
It's their
Aguinaldo
island,
had
you
around
asshole.
100,000, quote, soldiers on his side, most of them untrained and armed only with spears, knives, bows and arrows, and other simple weapons. The Americans? Oh, they had guns, of course. In the early months of the war, the United States mostly had success in conventional battles due to their superior weapons.
What do you think?
Because of this, Aguinaldo had decided that the Filipinos' best hope was conducting guerrilla warfare,
Obviously.
or a war fought by unconventional means.
Can't-
Aguinaldo had
you
noticed
can't go head to head with a military that has you overpowered by 10 times, which is basically the American military right now. Like, even if you have the greatest guns in the world, we've got drones, we've got satellites. Like, people are so obsessed with the Second Amendment in the United States about owning a gun so we can fight against our government. It's like, bro, they have tanks and drones. Like, if the Second Amendment allows me to have a Q-1 Predator drone, then fine, but it doesn't. So I don't know. I think it just makes us feel better that we can fight against our government. But can you really fight against a government with like a bunch of handguns and some AK-47s? I guess. A little.
that his soldiers were most successful with ambushes or surprise attacks from concealed positions. He
Welcome to
also had a
Vietnam.
very talented general on his side, Antonio Luna. Under Luna's
I'm gonna watch
leadership,
this.
the Filipino army was able to effectively terrorize American soldiers.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
And Luna's soldiers actually had guns.
Luna's
you go.
elite unit of sharpshooters even got the nickname, quote, marksmen of death.
After this,
wow.
the atrocities got significantly worse.
First of all, American troops became increasingly frustrated with guerrilla warfare tactics because it eroded their trust with the civilian population.
they're gonna start
In other
fucking up the
words, they
civilians.
generally stopped trusting pretty
Yeah.
much all Filipinos. They began scorched earth campaigns, basically just
that's not good.
destroying a bunch of the Filipinos' resources. They began relocating civilians to concentration camps.
Yes, you heard that right.
We were there before the Germans. Awesome. They don't teach us that in American history. It's so dumb we don't teach this stuff.
Concentration
So dumb.
camps.
Where thousands, at the very least, ultimately died from disease and starvation.
And we all know that the Japanese came in during World War II and did all these atrocities with these camps, and we don't know that we did it 40 years earlier. Like, it's so disingenuous history. It's written by the victors, and it's annoying.
Often cut off food from being transported to the villages they didn't burn down. There were also reports of American soldiers robbing civilians of everything they owned
sure.
of value. There were reports of rape. Some American soldiers tortured prisoners. One well-documented way they did this was through something called, quote, the water cure. When a Filipino prisoner wouldn't say the right thing, American soldiers would hold them down and force them to drink a bunch of water in a short amount of time. They'd often hold their mouths open with a stick and close their nose with pincers so the water wouldn't come back up. On November 27th, 1900, American soldiers gave Joviano Ildama, a Filipino who was the mayor of the town of Igbaras, the water cure. Sergeant Edward Davis later
Have we been waterboarding people for this long? Like, it is just, we are monsters. This is fascinating.
testified about it.
After they filled him up with water, he swelled way up, and then these two soldiers would roll the water out of him. They had an interpreter over him, and they asked him if he would tell what information they were after. He told some, and then after they released him, they wanted further information out of him, and he would not give it. So they took him down right there, and they took a syringe and squirted water up his nostrils. He would not give the information then, and they put salt in the water. Then he was willing to tell.
I should say that most American soldiers were not doing this. In fact, they were probably just as disturbed as you are right now hearing about all this.
Many began writing to the media to tell them of the
Good.
atrocities. One soldier from New York wrote, "Last night one of our boys was found shot and his stomach cut open. Immediately orders were received from General Wheaton to burn the town and kill every native in sight, which was done to a finish. About 1,000 men, women, and children were reported killed. I am probably growing
And
hard."
these people in every war get away with it. Like, you'll catch one guy out of the 10,000 that raped. Like, oh my God, you should, like, the French. When we went into France in World War II, which we are applauded in every single movie, they've done studies. The estimate is we raped and impregnated 8,000 women in France. We were the good guys. Bro, war is nuts. But people without, I guess, without accountability, they really show their true colors. Like, I would not do well in war. I'd end up shooting my own people. Like, I'm not gonna stand there. I'm not gonna watch that happen. I'm not gonna do that. That's not
About
gonna happen.
1,000 men
Like, it's fucking crazy. This is stressing me out a little bit.
to burn the town and kill every native in sight, which was done to a finish. About 1,000 men, women, and children were reported killed.
How do you do
I'm
that?
probably growing hard-hearted, for I am in my glory when I can sight my gun on some dark skin and pull the trigger. After the media published stories like this,
You
many
hear this shit all the time. I wonder if I'm as mentally strong as I think I am. Maybe I'd break and I'd be just gunning down people because war messes with you. And I know nothing about it. You know, I've never been to war. Maybe it just breaks people, but that is just awful. this guy's like talking about it honestly and openly. He's like, hey, maybe I become hard-hearted because I'm loving gunning down people. And then they come back and work at the gas station. Like, it's just nuts. Like, you send people to war, and then what do we do with them? They're broken their whole lives. This guy shoots brown people for fun. I mean, that's not good.
On some dark skin and pull the trigger. After the media published stories like this, many Americans back home got angry and began to protest the war. The War Department even conducted a major investigation. When Elwell Otis found out about his soldiers writing to the media, he freaked out, launching a major PR.
He's mad about them writing to the media, not mad about the atrocities his men are doing. Oh, I love these people. They're just such good people.
Campaign to downplay these reports. He even tracked down some of the soldiers who wrote the letters, forcing them to write a retraction and court-martialing them if they refused to do so. But even generals were turning against Otis. Like General Reeve of the 13th Minnesota Regiment, who wrote, quote, "It seems to me that we are doing something that is contrary to our principles."
Thank you.
But it wasn't just American soldiers guilty of atrocities. The Filipino soldiers tortured American prisoners too. There were reports that they buried American soldiers alive.
What would you do if they just killed 1,000 friends of yours? 1,000. This is why war is just the worst. Fucking idiot. They saw one soldier dead and they're like, oh, go kill an entire town. Like, bro, that's like killing me because of Trump. Like, I had nothing to do with this shit. Like, please don't bomb my house because that guy's an idiot. Like,
here's another report.
An American prisoner had been buried in the ground with only his head projecting. His mouth had been propped open with a stick. A trail of sugar laid to it through the forest, and a handful thrown into it. Millions of ants had done the rest.
Oh, God.
Goodness.
That's real?
Filipino soldiers reportedly mutilated American soldiers and slowly killed them so that they would suffer. By the end of the war, Filipino sharpshooters were targeting chaplains, doctors, nurses, and even wounded soldiers.
It's gonna keep devolving.
On June 5th, 1899, the Filipino Army lost its best general in kind of a crazy way. Members of Aguinaldo's own...
No! Spoiler alert! I didn't know Heneral Luna died. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm learning history.
In kind of a crazy way. Members of Aguinaldo's own cabinet assassinated Antonio Luna. This was a huge loss for the Filipino Army. On December 20th, 1900, General Arthur MacArthur, who had taken over as the American military governor of the Philippines after Otis stepped down a few months prior, placed the entire Philippines under martial law. However, this just further eroded trust between American soldiers and Filipino civilians. By early 1901, things were not going well at all for the Filipino Army. They had lost control of most of their territory and thousands of soldiers, but things really got discouraging for them after the capture of their leader, Emilio Aguinaldo, on March 23rd, 1901. American soldiers were able to capture him after pretending to be prisoners of war, escorted by other American soldiers in Philippine Army uniforms. Aguinaldo didn't give up much of a resistance. He was exhausted by that point and tired of seeing Filipinos killed. On April 1st, Aguinaldo swore an oath accepting that the United States did now officially control the Philippines. He even swore allegiance to the American government. On April 19th, he issued a formal surrender telling his followers to put down their weapons and give up the fight. That said, not all Filipinos were ready to do that, and sporadic hostilities would continue over the next 12 years. General Miguel Malvar took Aguinaldo's place as the new leader of the Filipino government, while he launched a series of new attacks on American troops for the rest of the year. Ultimately, he'd surrender too on April 16th, 1902. By this time, Theodore Roosevelt was now president after the assassination of William McKinley a few months prior. Once a huge imperialist, by now, even Roosevelt was questioning questioning why the heck the United States was still fighting this war, he pushed for a solution to end the war and a path for the Filipinos to eventually govern themselves.
Good for Teddy.
To help them do that, he appointed his friend William Taft as civil governor of the archipelago. Ultimately, the war ended. Well, the main part of the war ended when the United States government promised the Filipinos that they could self-govern as long as the United States government could still kind of control them and protect them and,
exploit their natural resources.
Yeah.
The main part of the Philippine-American War officially ended on July 2nd, 1902.
It's stressful watching a documentary about how your people are just kind of assholes. It just is. I don't have any racism towards my people, and I also think that we meaning America, happens to be in charge right now in the world. In charge. But that role rotates around the world. In early 1900s, it was Germany. If you wanted the best education, you went to Germany. Everybody knew German. Like, it was the place until some psycho got into power and started bombing everybody. And maybe that's where we're at now, and we're about to fall down. But I'm just saying the people in charge are never nice. But it does suck to watch something about your people just like... It's just that we preach such ideals. Like, we need to either shut with the ideals or stop doing the things that are against our ideals. We don't get to do both. You don't get to... It's just so... It's so... Everyone who's not American must be even more outraged than I am, because you must just be like, really? Again? This is... Sure, buddy.
After Congress passed the Philippine Organic Act, a law that included the establishment of a Bill of Rights for Filipinos and a Filipino-led representative government, assuming hostilities ended. Heck, President Roosevelt even proclaimed full and complete forgiveness and amnesty to all Filipinos who had participated in the conflict.
Perfect, Teddy.
Hostilities did end.
I'm imagining they would.
Okay, they mostly ended. Technically, the war still carried on in the southern Philippines, where a group known as the Moros continued to resist American occupation in what became known as the Moro Rebellion. The Moros were only finally defeated after the Battle of Budbaksak on June 15th, 1913. After this, the United States controlled the Philippines and protected it for the next 33 years. That's when the Philippines finally achieved full independence.
Was it right after World War II? We're like, yeah, we freed everybody. And like, but you're still colonial. Oh, yeah, I guess we are. Maybe we should stop that. I'm surprised we did. I'm surprised we come up with some made-up reason why we can't give up our territories. I mean, we kind of still have a bunch, so I guess we did. Oh, yeah, watching this.
Years. That's when the Philippines finally achieved full independence. The Philippine-American War was objectively a disaster for everyone involved.
Yeah.
It was a painful reminder that imperialism often just leads to the horrible subjugation of a people. In fact, this war single-handedly turned Americans against imperialism, and even got the once staunch imperialist Teddy Roosevelt questioning himself. The war highlighted the importance of respecting the sovereignty of other nations.
You think?
It also exposed the terrible racism toward Filipinos. American soldiers done messed up with their treatment of them.
Imagine the amount of SA that happened. Just the amount of babies created during that war. Just by awful means. If we did 8,000 in France, I can't even comprehend. It's interesting. I wonder if, my question is this, are men, I'll say men because that's mostly who's in war, right? Are men monsters and behaving because they're within a social construct that requires them to behave? They get to war and then they're just themselves and sometimes they're monsters? Or are these just regular people, I'll count myself in this group, that get sent to war, break and become monsters? Or like who's doing all this SA? Like, are these just guys wanting to do it here but can't? Or did war break them and that's how you take it out on? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, I'm worried, am I surrounded by bad people and they just don't have the opportunities? or these situations, probably a little bit of both, whatever, column A and column B. I'm sorry to talk out loud. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do people end up doing these terrible, terrible things? And it's not one war. It's not one conflict. It's not one color of people. It's not one society. It's every freaking war. These awful things happen. It's known. It's known. Like, as a species, we do this. I would like to know why and how.
In conclusion, you probably weren't taught much about the Philippine-American War in history class. Unless you're Filipino, of course. But it's an important war that we need to learn from. But Mr. Beat, are you bringing up this war because you hate America?
No.
No, I am bringing up this war because we must learn from the mistakes of the past.
Thank you, Mr.
In order to achieve our goals of peace, justice, and equality. After all, if we ignore these mistakes of the past, we're more likely to just repeat them.
Thank you. Right, and he probably still gets 30% comments of, you're a communist.
A shout out to your...
You're anti-American. This is ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. And what I'm saying is, with history, it's the same thing. If you're rah-rah anything, then you're not paying attention. Like, show me a country that's rah-rah. Governments aren't great, guys. Like, you put a whole bunch of people in charge, they go power hungry. It's just how mammals apparently work. I'm just saying, like, you can't really be rah-rah anything. You got to really use your critical thinking head and really look at things. We're all doing not the greatest things all the time. So no more rah-rah-rah, this or that. It's just silly. Probably cut all this out. I can't watch these documentaries. I get so mad at my own country. If you made it this far, God bless you, and I apologize. Let's stop this and maybe do another one tomorrow.